And welcome back to the Legislative Lounge. I am your host, Natebige, with my co-host, Professor Mike. How are we doing today, Pastor?
We are awesome. I just woke up.
Working at graveyard, man. I can't even talk today. Good Lord.
That'll happen. A lot of stuff in the news just make you talk funny.
Oh, man. Yeah. So, well, I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on in the news, honestly. Everything that's happening over in Los Angeles. I mean, everybody's like, oh my God, it's a civil war. It's this, it's a that. And it's like, no, this is a summer in Los Angeles.
Yeah. Literally.
Like, let's get for real.
You can go all the way back to the 90s and you can find a riot every year, every other year.
It's like an annual thing in Los Angeles. But I mean, it is funny how it's being played up and dramatized by a lot of these leftist and the leftist media, and even, I mean, a lot of Democratic, Republican, or representatives and senators are out there just drumming this up to be like the most, oh my God, the world is ending situation, even though they know for a fact this happens every summer.
I kind of like that Freudian slip that you did. Even Democrat Republicans.
Yeah, well, that too. I mean, honestly, in all reality. Yeah. We want to welcome everybody in here tonight. Thank you guys for joining us. I know we got some new faces in the crowd tonight as well. So, but I mean, drop it in the comments, guys, real quick. What do you guys think about everything that's going on over in Los Angeles and really across the country? Because we've got some information tonight from even Minnesota that Mike isn't aware of. So he's going to have a live reaction to it, and I want to see what his reaction to is along with all of yours. But everybody knows and sees everything going on over there in Los Angeles. You've got yahoos over there doing the mostest, like this guy that's been completely going viral all over social media. I mean, flying a flag of a country that has nothing to do with us, right? And I made a video today saying this exact same thing. I will never understand, for the life of me, why anybody would be here in America waving a flag of a country they've either never been to, which most of these yahoos out in this crowd are. They're Mexican, American-born people, right? But they've never actually been to Mexico outside of Cancun or a resort. And yet they'll sit here and, oh, Mexico, it's great. We love it, But in all reality, how great is it, honestly? I mean, yeah. Mexico is a crap country.
It's wild. That'd be like us waving the British flag. That's my heritage. Or, people claiming, to be African American, but they don't have dual citizenship.
Yeah. And I mean, just for anybody that knows, I've been having internet issues all day. So if I'm going in and out, I apologize. I'm trying to get with my Obama Wi-Fi and, people and trying to get this figured out, but I don't know what's going on. So if I'm like roboting it over here, just deal with it.
It's not me this time.
Yeah, right. I know. But what's even funnier about this whole situation, Mike, is like we could sit here, we could say how crappy of a situation is in pretty much all Central American countries. I mean, a lot of them are really like run down in second and even sometimes third world countries. But even Mexico's president acknowledges the fact that they are a crap hole. And I'll explain why. Because she came out either last night or this morning talking about these Mexican Americans living, or the Mexicans living here in America, and that they chose to come here for a better life. Those are the exact words that she said. So it's like, why don't you make a better life for them in your cartel-ridden crap hole, that you have down below us?
Yeah. I mean, the logic just doesn't logic, you know what I mean?
And we'll sit here, we'll talk to these people and be like, you guys, there's a reason why you live here and not over there. And yet you still will crap on our country left and right talking about how terrible it is, how this, how that, but yet you won't live in a country that you're waving the flag for. And now the president of that said country is also saying, hey, you can have a better life in America. No dip. That's why they're here.
Yep. That's also why you see like such a disparity between those that come here legally, go through the actual immigration system and get naturalized. They are all for waving the red, white, and blue. They're not stomping around, breaking shit, burning shit down, waving foreign flags.
And that leads us to the question of this episode of, are they insurrectionists or are they peaceful protesters? Well, let's show you. Let me show you this clip real quick, Mike. I want to. This is a raw reaction for you as well, because you ain't seen this. But for everybody else, just listen to them real close. What they say.
We ain't afraid of you. We ain't afraid of you. It is right to rebel. I stand for the hell.
Did you catch that? What they said right there?
Yep.
It's our right to rebel.
Mm-hmm.
And they want to sit here and tell us that they're peaceful protesters and not insurrectionists that are literally attacking federal agents from the federal agents and local agents, because there's city, state, and county police and sheriffs there.
Mm-hmm. Well, words have meanings, and words have consequences in some contexts, right? If you specifically say that you are rebelling, I can hold you accountable for violating USC or 18 USC. I think it's 2381 or 2383.
We could also talk about, because of what's going on there, right? Which we'll get into the details of it. Is 18 USC, I think it's 1520, which has to do with impeding a federal investigation.
Mm-hmm.
That in itself is what all of this stems from, because a lot of people are not understanding why these people are even there in the first place. They think that they're just doing random ICE raids for just finding illegals. No. Donald Trump, Pam Bondi, Kash Patel, pretty much everybody, right? Kristi Noem have talked about how ICE is actually serving criminal warrants in Los Angeles for these people. These are criminals. Like, they're not looking for just random illegals at this point right now, right? That we'll get to that, right? They'll eventually get to that. But for the first and foremost thing, which is what J.D. Vance, Donald Trump, everybody's said from the beginning, their first goal is to get the criminals out of there. And that's exactly what they're doing. So these people are literally defending criminals, murderers, sexual assaults, rapists, just the list goes on of all the type of people that they're trying to take down right now, because these are criminals.
Mm-hmm. I mean, let's be fair. According to the law, anyone that breaks into this country is a criminal. But the worst of the worst, these people are defending.
Right. Absolutely. And what does people like Maxine Waters, Gavin Newsom, was it she's so irrelevant, I forgot her name.
AOC.
No. She ran for president.
Oh, Kamala Harris.
Kamala Harris, holy cow. And even the mayor of Los Angeles, they're out here literally defending it, saying that it's Trump's fault. I mean, here's a clip with some of their quotes we can take a look at.
Are blaming the Trump administration for the chaos. Border Czar Tom Homan joins us now.
But like, look at these quotes here. I don't know if you could really even see them from the screen, but it's part of the Trump administration's cruel, calculated agenda to spread panic and division. That's from Kamala Harris. Let me see if I can get a little closer here. What we're seeing in Los Angeles, it does that provokes by the administration. Basically, she's saying that's the mayor, Karen Bass, saying that it's being provoked by the administration. And then also Gavin Newsom's been all over the news lately saying a number of different things. But in this particular one, it says these are the acts of a dictator, not a president.
Like that dude's hair gel onto like I hope they arrest that guy. You've seen
talking about that.
Yeah, you've seen as well. You've seen the same thing I've seen, and Trump has endorsed the idea of arresting Gavin Newsom, and Gavin Newsom is basically taunting Tom Homan. And if it's one person you don't taunt, it's Tom Homan.
I actually have something from that today of him specifically taunting him. Take a look at this, Mike. See what your reaction is.
Come after me, arrest me. Let's just get it over with. Tough guy. I don't give a damn. But I care about my community. And I'm sorry to be so clear, but that kind of bloviating is exhausting. So, Tom, arrest me.
Ooh.
Yeah, he cares about his community so much, he's willing to let it burn down.
What's funny about it, what is so funny about this is that not only, like, he sits here and along with Bass, they both talk about how they love their community so much. Then why did it take you about 3 days to do anything? There was 3 specific days, 3 individual days before they took any amount of action whatsoever, which Tom Homan even addresses. And we're going to go through his statement in response to this just because it's that good, right? Everything that he says, he clarifies all of it and what's going on. What's going on, Mike? Something breaking?
It has nothing to do with California, but okay. every now and then I frequent the Gateway Pundit.
What's that?
Citizens call for ICE to arrest Democrat Minnesota state representative.
Stop.
You saw that?
Stop. That was my surprise. That's my surprise. We're getting to it. We're getting to it. Shut up, Mike.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Golly, man.
I just woke up. You asked.
Well, before we get to that, let's take a look at Tom Homan's response to this, because he also then breaks down everything that's going on in Los Angeles and talks about how those are criminal warrants that are being pushed out there. However, there are people in government at local levels and even up to the federal level saying the complete opposite. So let's take a look at it real quick.
He's a joke. He's a dishonest reporter. What we discussed was, for those protesters that cross the line, I've said it many times, you can protest, you got your First Amendment rights. But when you cross that line, you put hands on an ICE officer or you destroy property, or I say that you're impede law enforcement, or you're knowingly harboring, concealing illegal handling, that's a crime. And the Trump administration is not going to tolerate it. You cross that line, we're going to seek prosecution in the Department of Justice. Then the reporter asked me, well, could Governor Newsom or Mayor Bass be arrested? I said, well, no one's above the law. If they cross the line and commit a crime, absolutely they can. So there was no discussion about arresting Newsom. And so, what he's done, he's failed that state. He waited 2 days of that city burning and people getting hurt, officers being assaulted before he made any declaration of an unlawful assembly.
So to correct what I said earlier, I said 3 days. So it was 2 days rather. But put this into perspective, right? Police are being attacked. Cars are being burnt. Streets are being destroyed. Businesses being interrupted. Businesses are being looted and completely destroyed. And it took 2 days, 48 hours before he even named anything in regards to what was going on over there in Los Angeles.
That's not even the worst of it. Newsom still hasn't done anything. It's Donald Trump that's done it.
And what's even more funny, Mike, you mentioned it earlier. What is Gavin Newsom's goofy face doing now?
Suing Donald Trump.
For what?
For activating the National Guard and sending them to California and then adding 500 additional Marines.
It's 700 now.
700.
They increased it. Yeah, they increased it today, and they were actually deployed a couple hours ago. So they are actually on their way, if not already there in Los Angeles. But the thing is that he's suing the president for doing a constitutional duty that the president has in regards to mobilizing National Guards in these type of events.
Mhm.
That's the crazy part about all of this. Because even Donald Trump endorsed, the fact that they should be arresting this guy.
Is Gavin Newsom a lawyer?
I believe his credentials do have some kind of a background in that, yes.
Lord have mercy. Yeah, I'm in college for this stuff. And it's like these people don't understand the basics of constitutionality, and it just makes me sick. It's like, what were you doing in, your constitutional law class? Styling your hair?
And this is what I love. We even have trolls always in our live stream. Like we have one right now. He said that Trump broke the law, you effing idiot. I would love for you, 𝗖𝗎, to pull up the exact law and cite it for us, and we will go through it for you live on the stream tonight. And we will debunk you right here in front of the 24, 25 people that we have so far and many others that are going to watch this live going forward. So give me the citation for the actual law, and we'll go through it right now for you.
Mm-hmm.
But let's continue to listen to this because this is good information for everybody to know.
He's late to the game. President Trump isn't late to the game. Men and women, our vice are not late to the game. And let's make this clear. I keep hearing this term ICE raids, ICE raids. What happened with how this riot started is that ICE was serving a series of criminal warrants at a business being investigated for money laundering, customs fraud, and serious violations on sending money to criminal cartels that in Colombia and Mexico that fund criminal cartel activities in the United States. It's a part of an overall conspiracy that ICE is investigating. So we're arresting bad people. We were enforcing laws and following up on a serious criminal investigation on cartel financing. So that's exactly what ICE did. And ICE took a lot of bad people off the street that day. We arrested a sexual predator, arrested gang members, arrested somebody that had an armed robbery conviction. So we made LA safer. The men and women at ICE, the men and women at the Border Patrol made LA safer that day. But you're not hearing any of this. All you hear is a rhetoric about ICE being racist, about ICE being Nazis and terrorists. And Governor Newsom feeds that. Just like Hakeem Jeffrey feeds it, that he's going to unmask ICE agents. And the members of Congress who keep feeding this rhetoric, they're the ones that are causing this riot because they don't listen to the truth about what the men and women at ICE are doing. We're keeping our promise to American people to make these streets safe again. And that's exactly what we're going to do. And we're not going to stop doing it.
Amen. And to talk about that a little bit at the end, where he mentioned that even Hakeem Jeffries and a lot of politicians at the federal level have been in cahoots with almost doxing federal agents to the point where people are literally finding out who these people, who the ICE agents are, finding their families, sending threats, going to their homes, and doing all this wild crap to our federal agents.
Well, not just that. You also have Senator Chris Murphy calling for nationwide protests towards ICE.
I was just about to mention that. Like, that is absolutely insane.
It's sad. We're at a point of in our life here in America where we're calling for harm, we're calling for devastation, destruction to communities, and our elected representatives are fueling the fire with their divisive rhetoric. And I said it in a video. For some reason that TikTok won't allow to play for some individuals. But I said Donald Trump is better than any Democrat candidate that they have produced. He's better than Kamala Harris, Joe Biden, Obama. And
is he perfect? No, we're not saying that. We're not saying it.
He's not perfect by any means, but he's better than all your candidates.
Absolutely. I mean, you got a cancer-ridden, dementia, overblown nursing home patient that's been the president for the last 4 years, quote unquote. Then you got this hobo or Bilbo woman that's made her career off of her knees, basically, all the way up to what she is now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she even got to the point of I don't even understand how she even got chosen for vice president after calling Joe Biden a racist and all this other stuff that she did. But this is the fact that you guys will sit here on the left and talk about how how bad Donald Trump is and all this other stuff and go from that point. Right? It's I'm tired of hearing it because you got representatives out here like Maxine Waters, this absolute buffoon from California that has been caught on camera talking about inciting violence on a number of occasions. But here's a video, a quick little snippet of her harassing military personnel.
You gonna shoot an elected official? If you shoot me, you better shoot straight. I don't know why you're in my city. You did the governor was not contacted.
The governor don't need to be contacted, Miss Waters. When there's a violent uprising and the governor and the mayor refuse to do anything, when local and state police are being absolutely attacked, the president has every right to jump in.
It's wild. Like that woman, I would say majority of the elected officials in California need to be fired. Maxine Waters, she is just another Pelosi. She's an activist. All she has is divisive rhetoric. And for her to antagonize and, insult the men and women in uniform like that is just totally despicable. And, what I was saying about Donald Trump, the reason he was elected is because we've had enough. The reason he's the best is because we've had enough. The reason he is popular among Americans is because he's focusing on Americans. He's focusing on making America great again, while the Democrats are self-serving narcissists who are focusing all of their energy on illegal aliens.
That's exactly what's going on. I mean, there's a number of issues with these people going throughout. I mean, for the last decade or two, you can see these people inciting violence, right? But yet all they want to talk about, like this Yahoo in our chat, is January 6th, January 6th. Like, this is an annual thing for the left. This is an annual thing for Democratic cities to absolutely blow up their cities and burn it down. And yet people on January 6th are the only ones that anybody ever looks at, right? But that's because the intelligence, honestly, of the left is so dumbfounding to me. It's just like, I like, it's so low. Like this individual in the comments, he referenced 32 USC 328, right? That has nothing to do with the president. That is the governor's authority penal code in regards to mobilizing the troops. There is a whole nother one that has that references the president, and yet here we are showing you live time, right? Live time on what this individual in our comment section. This is the intelligence of people. We're talking about the president mobilizing the National Guard in situations like this. And I ask him to give me the penal code or the law that references which one he was violating. No, this has to do with the governor's authority over mobilizing. Maybe you should actually read 32 USC 328 because that's exactly what it is.
When the governor of any state and union fails to do his duty to protect the citizens of that state, it is up to the president to pick up the slack. That is constitutional. That is lawful. Maybe you should come back here when you go educate yourself.
And just to prove it for you, it's quite literally called the Active Guard and Reserve Duties Governor's Authority. Like, if you read it just for 2 seconds, you would see that the title has to do with the governor, not the president. Because the president is above a governor, just so we're aware, right? Like, you understand that, correct? Just making sure, because God forbid I overestimate your intelligence.
There is no intelligence. He's one of the individuals that supports Gavin Newsom. He supports all these divisive leftists that want to see the destruction of this country. If you don't like America, leave. If you want to wave another flag that's not the red, white, and blue, leave. I don't think you should be able to wave another nation's flag.
Absolutely. No, I don't think you should be able to as well. I mean, if you try and go over to some other country and try and wave the American flag, like Germany or China, or, try that. See what happens. See how that goes for you.
Well,
right?
I mean, let's be fair. Like in Germany, you can't even pray, right? You can't even talk bad about your government. You can't even insult somebody on the internet. They'll hold you with criminal charges.
Right. Absolutely.
So
I mean, it's just
like if I was to call Nate an idiot live on this podcast, and we were in Germany, I'd be held on worse criminal charges than if I insulted him in person, because the internet is forever.
Right. But so moving off of that, right, getting to a more surprising situation, right, into some information that there's two things actually. So there's the one that Mike was just bringing up. So we're going to talk about this, right? This is the reason why we have ICE being mobilized in such dramatic fashion that we do. Because in the state of Minnesota, right? Like everybody knows, let me preface it with this. Everybody knows here in the United States, to be a part of any governing body, doesn't matter if it's federal, state, local, county, it doesn't matter. You got to be an American citizen, right? You have to be naturalized or be naturally born here, right? That's the law. Like that's in our Constitution. However, there is a state representative in the state of Minnesota who, before the state Congress, admits she is an illegal immigrant. Let's take a look at it. Maybe.
And so I am illegal in this country. My parents are illegal here in this country. My father, as the one processing the paperwork, put my grandmother down as his mother. And so I am illegal in this country. My parents are illegal here in this country.
Yeah, she just said that. And Mike, I'm sure you have some of the information on who she is specifically.
Democrat State Representative 𝗬𝗓𝗓𝗧𝗓.
𝗬𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓. So she's probably from some.
Laos.
Obviously, she's Laos. I was gonna say some Asian country. That's for sure.
Yeah. So whenever we have debates regarding political systems, such as a constitutional republic versus a democracy versus a communist dictatorship, when we bring up communist or socialist dictatorships, we bring up the country of Laos.
Right. But even further than that, Mike, I don't know if you saw it earlier as well, but another individual that we found from the Chinese. Well, I don't want to say she's a Chinese. Oh, go ahead.
Can we wait a second, real quick?
Yeah.
I want everyone to understand. She's claiming to be an illegal alien, which means she's violating 8 U.S. Code 1325. Being here illegally. Not only that, she can be charged with defrauding the United States government every time she took a paycheck.
Right? Uh-oh. So we need to really make this loud and proud for everybody. So, I mean, everybody that is watching this, share it to somebody. Snip that portion of of that representative in Minnesota. Like, if Minnesota couldn't already be more corrupt in what they do, here we are. Like, you got to think, this is where Tim Walz comes from. This is where crap, what's her name?
Ilhan Omar.
Ilhan Omar, right? This is where they all come from, and I'm totally not surprised about this one bit. It doesn't surprise me at all, that because a lot of people know, if you pay attention to anything that any of the terrorists around the world have said since back at 9/11, right? They've always said that they're going to destroy America from within. And this is exactly how they do it. Because you don't actually have to be naturally born here to run. You have to be naturalized, right? But you don't have to be natural born. We already know papers can be faked.
Mm-hmm. And what's interesting is Ms. Vang made those remarks during a hearing for a bill. This should really piss off Minnesotans. They were in session for a hearing on a bill modifying Minnesota Care to extend its coverage, state insurance coverage, to cover illegal aliens.
Mm-hmm.
What do Minnesotans? It's time for you to hold your representatives accountable. Get them out of office. Elect an American citizen that actually represents America, represents your values. Stop allowing these divisive criminals to care more about people who break into the country, people who rape American citizens, who violate children, who murder our women, to represent you. It's despicable.
Right. And to further that point, right, we already know of a situation with a University of Michigan student that was deported, right? However, there was another one that that was arrested not just recently. The FBI has arrested a second University of Michigan scholar from China for smuggling pathogens into the United States. Earlier this month, the FBI arrested a Chinese University of Michigan scholar. So, I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry. I don't know what's going on with my university. I don't know what liberalism they've got going on over at the University of Michigan, but I apologize on behalf of them because that is my university and I love them to death, but I don't know what's going on. But they charged this girl with trying to smuggle biological pathogens for targeted crops, right? The pathogen in which she brought here to the United States was intended to kill food supplies, which this has been a quote-unquote conspiracy for some time now, that China has been trying to manipulate the food and our resources here to where they would basically starve us out, right? This is 34-year-old Zunyang Li, or Louis, Liu, however you pronounce that. And she's a Chinese research fellow in molecular, cellular, and developmental biology at the university, and was arrested by the federal agents and charged with attempting to smuggle that biological pathogen in. I'm trying to see here if there's any information on what specifically it was, because I was reading this just the other day, and it did talk about how that pathogen manipulates the food to a point it literally poisons it.
It's not just that. I read a little bit while I was at work. It could also be transmitted to humans and cause harm to us as well. And if people don't understand the severity of this situation, that's biological terrorism.
Right. This is exactly why we need to get people out of our country that shouldn't be here. Like, you could sit here and you say, well, she had a student visa and all that. And that's why those type of people need to be vetted even more than they already are.
100%.
Because this obviously is an individual that had connections to the CCP. Otherwise, why would she be bringing a pathogen that would absolutely devastate the food supply here in America? But people will sit here and call us conspiracy theorists every time we talk about these kind of things, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, that's why I focus a lot of energy on China. They are the most dangerous enemy right now. We don't hear a lot of news about, oh, this Russian brought something in. This Russian is causing devastation in America. No, we hear illegal aliens coming from a variety of different countries, whether it be, Central America, South America, Mexico, Afghanistan, all these different countries.
Right.
And then you have this Chinese terrorist bringing something that'll actually cripple us. Thankfully, we caught it. Thank you. I think 𝗪𝗧𝗪𝗧𝗧 actually led that investigation.
Yes. Correct.
So.
But just taking a little side note here for everybody here that's coming in. If you guys like the content that we do, we'll do live information like we just did with the Yahoo in our chat and bringing up actual penal codes and legislation. Please let us know. Drop it in the comments if there's a topic that you want us to cover. Like, share, subscribe to our channel so that way we can continue to get this out to the masses, because honestly, there's a lot of people that will try and limit what they say on their podcast. Not here. Everything is game. Doesn't matter if you're a Republican, doesn't matter if you're a Democrat, doesn't matter if you're an independent, doesn't matter what situation you got going on. If you're doing something that it goes against the Constitution or something that goes against what we believe as Americans, you're going to get called out here. And we'll do it live time with you as well.
Yeah.
But taking a little bit of an avenue off of this whole immigration topic, right? Because this is going to be something that's going to be here for quite a while, right? Where we can make a whole episode on this. But honestly, there was something else pretty big over this last week that had people shook for, I don't know, about 3 days before this whole Los Angeles thing happened, right? Mike, what happened?
You talking about the bromance?
The bromance.
The bromance. I'm honestly...
I want everybody, before you say that, Mike, everybody in the comments, tell us in the comments what you thought about the whole Elon Trump situation. What do you think? Give me the wildest conspiracies that you believe, or just what you think is reality, right? Drop it in the comments.
So, I'm really not taking it seriously. Personally, I honestly think, listen, these are two of the smartest men in the country. Two billionaire businessmen. You have one of the best real estate tycoons in history, and then you have dudes that literally launches rockets and they land by themselves. Right? Supposedly arguing and just having banters on social media like children. And I honestly think it is all rehearsed. And, a lot of people, X was going crazy because Elon dropped a tweet saying Trump was part of the Epstein files.
Right.
Now,
and we're,
yeah, I was going to say, if by some chance that this was all this bromance dissolvement was true, and Elon actually meant that, and the bromance is over, and they're actually fighting, and they're not just screwing around. If that was actually true, and Donald Trump is part of the files, and he is what Elon is alleging, why was he around his kid?
That's a very good question. And just for those that didn't see it, which if you didn't see it, please come out from under the rock that you live under, because here it is.
Bluetooth connected.
Sorry about that.
Siri wanted to join in.
Yeah. But so this is the tweet that he put out saying, but I want people to really sit here and contemplate for 1 second, okay? How limited he was in regards to the Doge information, right? Because a lot of people say, oh, he had some kind of all-encompassing information for Doge and all this other stuff, right? Like he could do stuff and manipulate stuff. Like, no, he didn't. Like, we all know he was a read-only option in all of the Doge files. But the left is taking this tweet and they're running with it like, oh my God, see, we told you. We told you. But in all reality, you sit back and you say, okay, this is the left, first of all, talking about, the people that literally destroyed his shops, his vehicles, his everything, his stock, all this other stuff. Called him what was it? The shadow president. They called him, Hitler and all this other stuff, right? They even, the whole salute thing. I mean, just attacked this guy for months, right? All of a sudden, he's the good guy now, right? And they were saying, oh, he doesn't know what he's doing. He's got all this information, blah, 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 right? But you think with all the brain, the 3 or 4 brain cells that you guys have, that this man has access to classified FBI data. I can't even get it out with a straight face. Like, you guys actually believe that this man has access to classified documentation from the FBI on this case, to where he was able to say this with his whole chest and mean it? Come on.
Like, it's not just that. It's Elon. You know where you were as far as a special government employee, and you think that people like me and Nate aren't going to catch on to something like this,
right?
You think that with your ability to view classified information, which he had that ability, you really expect us to believe that all of a sudden Donald Trump is on the Epstein list? That he's part of the Epstein files, and the Democrats wouldn't take advantage of that for the years when he wasn't president?
I mean, the fact is you said it earlier, Mike. Like, why would he allow his son, his 4-year-old son, to be around him if that's the case? But then also, from just a couple months ago, right? Almost to the day from the tweet because this was done on February 7th. That one was done on June 5th, right?
Mm-hmm.
Say something like this: I love Donald Trump as much as any straight man can love another man. Mm-hmm. But yet, all of a sudden, he's a pedophile now. What? So you're out here saying that you love a pedophile? Guys, come on. There's more to it than that. Now, me personally, I have a kind of a different viewpoint on this from Mike. Mine's like, his is more like, I like to label as conspiracy because, but it could be possible because, first of all, we're talking about the 2 biggest trolls to have ever graced the internet, right? Elon and Trump are unmatched when it comes to trolling. There's literally nobody in contention. Prior to Elon, there was nobody outside of Donald Trump, but Elon he's a close second, man, as of late. But mine's more more based on like what Donald Trump and the legislation is doing, is the fact that Elon has always been a Democrat. He always backed Democrats. He was always a sort of liberal individual and was pretty outspoken about it for several years, right? And for him to just kind of switch up and then switch back all within a couple of months, it raises a few red flags to me. So I dived into it a little bit deeper, and I'm like, all right, what's the real story going on here? And we all know that, what was it, the 2nd or 3rd day he canceled some huge EV that, the EV contract, governmental contract that he was going to give to Tesla.
Yeah, there were several things. There was
I'm about to go on to them though, Mike. That's what I was going to say. Yeah, I was just making sure because that was the first one, right? Mm-hmm. And then 2 months later, 2 or 3 months later in April, it was the fact that there goes the EV mandate. There's no more out there. Who does that hurt? Elon Musk. And then just 2-3 weeks ago, prior to all of this happening, comes out the bill, the big, beautiful bill, right? And in that, along with statements from Donald Trump, they're taking away the EV tax, right? The tax that helps him reduce his taxes and his business taxes and all this other stuff. Uh-oh. Then comes the tantrum, is what I call it. The absolute explosion of tweets towards Donald Trump. Now, I can say, I understand where you're coming from, Mike, and the whole conspiracy of the troll thing, and I could see that happen. I could see that a legitimate thing, right?
Wait. If you're so mad at Donald Trump, why are you still reposting not just Rapid Response 47, but you're also reposting 7 hours ago JD Vance?
Okay, and this is why I was about to say this. I've been paying attention to his tweets today, right? Over the last, I should say, 48 hours, right? Because they went quiet for a minute, for about a day or two. And it was pretty much like Saturday and Sunday, they went quiet. I didn't really see. I mean, he posted like normal, but they weren't going at each other. But then you take a look at his tweets from today, and he's even reposting Truth Social posts from Donald Trump, right? Reposting almost as if nothing happened. That's the weird part.
Yep.
Reposting a huge supporter of Donald Trump in Jeffrey Mead, right? If y'all don't know Jeffrey Mead, he's all over TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram. He's a huge conservative content creator. Reposting him talking about, things that are dealing with illegal immigration and support for Donald Trump and all that. So it's just like there's so much going on here. Initially, I thought that maybe it was just Elon going back to his old ways, because honestly, I've never trusted the guy from the beginning. I didn't trust him when he first endorsed Donald Trump, because he's always been a socialist, which ironically is an oxymoron. This guy claims to be a socialist, right? And he's been very open about that, but he's also the world's richest man at the same time. It's like, yeah, that doesn't compute. But anyways,
he's a big troll. I mean, like this tweet here that was made yesterday. Like it's outrageous how much a character assassination has been directed at me, especially by me.
Wait, what?
he's
He said that yesterday?
He said it's outrageous how much character assassination has been directed at me, especially by me.
That is why I am starting to get on board with the whole fact that might have been a coordinated attack on the whole Epstein files to try and get things rolling and stuff. I don't know what the end game was, but like I prefaced this whole thing saying that Elon and Trump are the world's biggest trolls, and you have got to understand that, right? You get these two dudes in a room, man. Like you get me and Mike in a room, we gonna we gonna get in trouble, okay? But you talk about the world's biggest trolls.
But it's like what you were saying. He reposted Donald Trump's Truth Social tweet, and talking about L.A. You expect me to believe this fight?
Right. I mean, even to even more further this, right? We're talking about that you had mentioned that he retweeted JD Vance's tweet, right? But there's a huge significance in that tweet that he retweeted, right? Is the fact that JD Vance in this tweet took a screenshot from Donald Trump's Truth Social talking about everything going on in Los Angeles and the leadership from our team and him himself, but also like Pam Bondi, P. Hezeth, all of them. In regards to resolving the situation. And then JD Vance says, this is the moment, calls for a decisive leadership. Sorry. The president will not tolerate rioting and violence. Elon then retweets it with American flags. Like, oh, I'm all buddy again, Team Trump. Oh. Like, what is going on?
Like I said, I don't have a lot of belief in this little feud, but the Democrats are running with it. And we're not seeing Teslas being harmed. We're not seeing Tesla businesses or Tesla dealerships being burnt down. So
but here's it's just kind of keeping, and honestly, that'll develop. It'll be what it is in the end. Honestly, I didn't care after I made my initial video of it and went on from there. And it just seems like it's becoming this big goofy thing between the two of them. And I'm starting to get on board with the quote unquote conspiracy because it's just too. But breaking news, right? Everybody talks about how razor thin the majority is in the House of Representatives for the Republicans. Well, it's getting even thinner because GOP Mark Green abruptly announces his retirement from Congress before the end of his term, meaning that he's leaving now, right? So I believe that only gives us like a 217 lead because our 218, 219, one of those two. Because at the beginning, back in November, right at the beginning of the year, we were at 220 for the Republicans. Now it's getting ugly, guys. It's getting ugly. And honestly, in all reality, if this happens, we're going to see a 2018, 2019 situation. That's why it is solely important to get out and vote for the 26 midterms. Tell everybody. Because if you want Donald Trump to get stuff done, he needs the majority in both. Or else we're going to see the last 2 years is the House trying to completely oust him through impeachment hearings and all this other nonsense that we saw in 2018 and 2019 because of when they took over the House, right? Or 2019, 2020 because they won in 2018. And we don't want that. We want to continue this. So we need you guys to get out there and vote. Tell your friends. Get out and vote. I don't care if you're in a blue state. Say, oh, I'm in a blue county. It doesn't matter if I vote or not. Yes, it does. Did you not pay attention to Pennsylvania, Virginia, New Jersey, numerous counties? I think it was 9 in California flipped, right? Virginia and New Jersey didn't flip, but they were razor thin, right? And now in places like New Jersey, we have huge voices like Scott Pressler out there pressing for new votes in New Jersey, who, just so you know, I give him sole credit for winning Pennsylvania because Pennsylvania was won by 180,000 votes for Donald Trump. Huge, right? He specifically went out and registered 150,000 Amish people that came and voted for Donald Trump. So
wild. This upcoming midterms, you have, not just that seat that's not going to be available, right? And you have, I want to say 13 Democrat seats.
There's a lot that we could flip. A lot. We could get a super majority in the Senate.
Yep. And that'd be amazing. And we need to elect representatives and senators that want to make this country safe, that want to, take Donald Trump's mission to, benefit the American people and push it through congressional legislation. Right? We want our elected officials to solidify these executive orders into law, like we saw that Democrat do in California. That was wild. But that only happens if you start taking action in your local communities and you start bringing the topic to light. Stop just, a lot of people just focus on federal election, the presidential election, and then they're like, I'm done. No, you need to focus on, your local, your your county, your state. You need to focus on the midterms, and your local and state are going to affect you more.
And to further this point, right? I had already mentioned it does matter if you get out and vote because 9 counties in California flipped red, and Miami-Dade, probably the strongest stronghold outside of like New York and Los Angeles when it comes to being blue. Like that has been deep blue since like the 70s, right? Never flipped, and it flipped this time. But then people will also say, oh, well, it's the fact that, we have so many rhinos and all this. If you are worried about rhinos being in office for so long, make sure you go to the party primary as well. Like, I'm trying to emphasize this to people. November votes are important, but who you select to be on that ballot is your party primary, which is usually sometime in like March, depending on your state. It really depends on your state. So you need to look it up where you're at. Like here in Texas, it's in March time usually. So make sure you get out, because that's when you can oust these rhinos. Like for everybody in South Carolina that keeps complaining about Lindsey Graham, make sure you go to your party primary and vote him out.
Yep. And another thing, if you're in Arizona like I am, and you're tired, and you are just run down because of cartel Katie Hobbs, this is your chance. This is your chance to Andy Biggs, turn Arizona red once and for all. A lot of people are saying that we're blue. A lot of people are saying that we're, little California. This is a chance to change it. November, go vote for Andy Biggs for governor of Arizona. He's endorsed by Donald Trump. He's endorsed by Charlie Kirk. He's gonna make Arizona great again, right? Look at that. We have our own little MAGA.
Absolutely. And we thank you guys all for coming in tonight. If you would please, just real quick, if you're not already subscribed, please subscribe to our Rumble and our YouTube, but then also like and share this, right? That's what helps us. Comment below. Tell us things that you're seeing in your state, right? We'll go even into the state or county situations. We do that on the radio show, which is going to be on Tuesdays at 7 p.m. on Radio 𝗪𝗪𝗧. If you can look it up on YouTube or Facebook, Radio 𝗪𝗪𝗧.
Real quick, I was scrolling on Facebook, and I believe our endorsed candidate just won her mayoral election. Our first candidate that the Legislative Lounge has endorsed in Texas.
Yes, sir. Her name is Carol McCutcheon. She was running for mayor of Sugar Land here in Texas. We officially endorsed her along with the radio show, Mike Kahn and everybody there at Radio 𝗪𝗪𝗧, and she won pretty nicely. So that was awesome to see. So your vote matters. Get out and vote, even in your mayoral elections.
Yep, 100%. So I just wanted to give a shout out to her because she was amazing to have on the show. She's incredibly intelligent, an amazing woman.
Absolutely. And Mike, again, thank you guys for joining us, but Mike, take us home.
All right. If you're not already subscribed to the greatest podcast in America, hit that subscribe button and hit the bell so you can receive notifications. Follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Rumble, and Twitch and Patreon. We're not on TikTok. The Legislative Lounge does not have a page on TikTok because it took it down. Me and Nate might have our personal TikToks taken down because TikTok is on its thing. So be on the lookout for our new accounts if that should happen. But we love you.
I'm mostly on Instagram now, so yeah, same name, guys.
Yep. So look out for the Legislative Lounge. Look out for Natebige and Professor Mike on all social media platforms. We love you. Stay blessed. Stay safe.